Yesterday, a day before the NHL draft, Montreal Canadiens general manager Marc Bergevin and assistant general manager Trevor Timmins held media scrums to touch base with everyone. And there are some takeaway notes from that. First and foremost, Bergevin will be looking at all options to improve this team, whether that's through trade or free agency. He mentioned he'll be looking for a defenseman. Clearly, Montreal does have that hole on the left side. So as Habs fans, we're hopeful that he'll be addressing that this season. But the thing is, he is quoted as saying he does not want to be losing core players, his young core players, who will likely be earning raises in the next couple years. He always has to keep that in mind. He's always thinking ahead in terms of that cap structure. So he did mention that he doesn't want to sign a guy free agency that is going to hinder him from signing his own drafted players. Not only that, Bergevin mentioned he's not going to be giving up on Hudon. He sent him a qualifying offer. It's up in the air whether Hudon's going to accept that. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. He mentioned Caden Primo will be starting in Laval, which makes sense. He's coming into his rookie season as a goalie. Wouldn't be wise to bring him into the NHL right away. So I could see him definitely playing a full season in Laval, to be quite honest, unless there's some serious injury troubles in Montreal. Knock on wood. Hopefully there will not be. But yeah, I definitely think it's smart for Caden to start in Laval. Trevor Timmins and Marc Bergevin are not expecting Montreal's first round pick to play in the NHL in the first season, and maybe not even in the second season. So we got guys drafted in this range typically need some development time, but there are going to be a ton of quality players available. Trevor Timmins describes this as a very deep draft with potentially elite talent as far as into the second round, but you really have to do your due diligence, and I believe that they certainly have done so. They have a very sound scouting team with Shane Sherla by his side. And they did fantastic last year. I have a ton of trust in this scouting team. Looking forward to a solid draft coming up. Montreal has 10 picks. They have a first rounder, 2 second rounders, a third rounder, a fourth rounder, 3 fifths, a sixth, and a seventh. 10 draft picks. So we are going to fill those cupboards with more prospects to an already ranked top 10 prospect pool in the NHL, consisting of guys like Suzuki, Paling, Jake Evans at center, all these centers, Ikonen, Vejdemo, left wing Fonstad, Teasdale, right wing Jesse Ylonen, then a couple more centers, Hillis, McShane, Olofsson. All these guys have had great seasons last year, and we're going to get to that throughout the summer. I'm not going to do a video on that in the next couple weeks. But throughout the summer, keep an eye out for my discussions on our prospects. On our left side D, Romanov looking so damn good. Best defenseman in the World Junior Championship. Drafted in the second round and is looking like an absolute steal. A ton of teams very impressed with him. His ceiling is seen now as a top pair left-handed defenseman. He'll be in Russia next year. He can't get out of that, but good things coming from him. Montreal also recently signed Leskinen, a free agent. He's 22 years old, coming over from Finland, I do believe, or maybe Sweden. I may have that wrong there, but in that league, Liga last year, 8 goals, 23 assists for 31 points in 57 games. Left-handed defenseman. I'm really looking forward to getting a look at him in training camp. And then on your right D, you got Juleson, Fleury, and Josh Brook. Josh Brook entering his first pro season last year, looked fairly good. It's going to be interesting to see him play a full season with Laval next year and under Joel Bouchard. That's very exciting. And Juleson returning, he's still considered, if I'm not mistaken, a rookie in the NHL because he hasn't passed that threshold of games played in the NHL yet. I think he finished with 21 games last year. And then in goal, Primo, McNiven, and Lacouvé. So those are the guys we have moving forward ahead of the NHL draft. And we're going to stock those cupboards even more. It's going to be an absolute blast tomorrow night at the draft. I'm considering doing a live feed for that, possibly with my brother. We're thinking we may watch the draft and sit around and chat with you guys. So keep an eye out for that. And if you're interested, please let me know in the comments. I'll gauge the interest before we get to that. Some more takeaways from the press conferences today. Bergevin mentioned Lehkonen and Armia will be Montreal Canadiens next year. Very interesting that he'll commit to them like that. They both have arbitration rights. Hopefully it doesn't go that far. Should be very interesting to see what contracts they get. I'd say they'll both fall somewhere in the $2 to $3 million range, but I wouldn't mind locking one of these guys up long-term at a price around there, maybe that $3 to $3.5 million range, and it could end up looking like another one of those Brendan Gallagher contracts, because both of these guys have some potential. Lehkonen 22 and Armia 26 both played key roles last year, specifically defensively, but these are both two guys that could be dangled as valuable assets in a trade too, so keep that in mind as well. The Montreal Canadiens held their European Combine once again. Great to see. Romanov was a result of that last season. So it'll be interesting to see if Montreal gets another steal due to that European Combine, where they hold something similar to the NHL Combine, but they do it over in Europe where certain guys couldn't get over or weren't invited to the NHL version of it. They get to go over there, do the same test, gather that same information, interview some players, get to see how their personality is, because that is something Bergevin and Timmins hold in high regard. Character, confidence, competitiveness, work ethic, good personality, good head on their shoulders. They value that stuff high, as well as the skill and all the different hockey abilities that you look for in a player. Montreal's not going to be looking to fill a specific hole in their roster with this draft. That's something else Timmins said. Timmins said because this draft, you're likely not having this player in your roster this year or next year. I'm speaking specifically about that first overall pick. Obviously, throughout the rounds, Montreal will probably focus on that left side D and defense in general to stock that area of our prospect pool. But with the first overall pick, you definitely have to go best pick available. And there are going to be a ton of guys with skill, with a ton of potential, high ceilings. And there are some left-handed defensemen that should be available in that range. Some names popping up: Cam York, Heiskanen, to name a few. We can get into that. I don't want to speak about who Montreal drafts before it happens, because I'm likely to be wrong. I'm not going to pretend to be a prospect expert, but once they draft whoever they choose, I'm diving in and figuring out who they are as a player and trying to make my own projection for them specifically compared to their peers. And it'll be a lot of fun. Keep an eye out for that stuff through the summer. Some more takeaways here. You know what? I think that's it. Honestly, I think I went through the whole thing. It was I really liked Bergevin's demeanor. Seems relaxed. Timmins as well. Seems like they're having a lot of fun. They seem confident. They seem ready for this draft, and I think they know they're in a good position moving forward. And I'm confident with them too, especially after how they did last year in the draft. It's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure to let me know if you want me and my bro to do that live stream. Could be fun. Talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like my videos, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications if you'd like, and of course you can find me Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Scotian Canadian. Let me know what you thought of the video down in the comments. Cheers, guys. Go Habs, go, baby.